The chef is missing, we can't prepare the breakfast buffet. What should we do? A hotel which is famous for its exceptional breakfast buffet. The manager was in a panic at the hotel I visited to reminisce about my late sister. Apparently, the hotel's restaurant chef, Travis, disappeared right after finishing the night shift. Travis has been reliable since my father's time. This has never happened before, and I'm worried something might have happened to him. I used to be the head chef at a 5-star hotel, but after my sister passed away, I couldn't stand in the kitchen anymore. Perhaps my sister is giving me a push. Thinking this, I impulsively asked, "Can I use the kitchen?" My name is Harrison. I'm 32 years old. Currently unemployed. Until just half a year ago, I was the head chef at a 5-star hotel. There's a reason why I'm unemployed now. My only beloved family, my sister Natalie, died in an accident. She was only 22 years old. Our parents ran a small diner, but our father, who did the cooking, died suddenly of an illness, and our mother, who was desperately keeping the diner running, passed away soon after. That was when I was 14 and Natalie, who was 10 years younger, was 4. At that time, we had no choice but to give up our parents' diner, and with the money from it, I managed to graduate from middle school. And then worked in restaurants while living with Natalie. I honed my cooking skills desperately, and recognized my talent. I was appointed head chef at a 5-star hotel in my 20s. You're amazing, Harrison. Mom and Dad would be so proud. I remember Natalie's beaming smile when she said that. Back then, the media also covered me, and I became a bit of a prodigy. Famous people from all over loved my cooking, and my popularity kept growing. I want to have my wedding reception with your cooking someday. Natalie was thrilled, saying her dreams had grown. I was also honing my skills even more so that my sister wouldn't be ashamed. But, while I was preparing for a major party, I suddenly received a call from the hospital. What? Natalie. Natalie was taken to the hospital after a traffic accident and was currently in surgery. The situation is critical. Please come to the hospital immediately. The hospital said, but the party was still ongoing. I couldn't leave the kitchen for the guests eagerly awaiting my cooking. I did everything I could and then rushed to the hospital, leaving the rest to my staff. But when I arrived at the hospital, the surgery is over. She regained consciousness for a moment, but just now. I removed the white cloth covering Natalie's face and saw her as pale as the cloth. Did Natalie say anything? Dr. Taggart told me the words carefully, making sure not to miss a single one. Harrison, make delicious food and let many people eat it. That's my dream too. So please tell him that, she said with a smile and then closed her eyes. I couldn't even shed a tear. If I had rushed to the hospital at that moment, Natalie wouldn't have died alone. I could have held her hand as she fell asleep. If she had seen my face, she might have recovered. Maybe, if only I had done this. I kept thinking about such things every day. And then I couldn't stand in the kitchen anymore. When I tried to cook, my body wouldn't move. When I tried to move, my hands shook, I broke into a cold sweat, and my heart raced. I lost Natalie because I chose the kitchen. I couldn't think otherwise, and I couldn't even stay in the kitchen. Feeling helpless, I decided to take a break for a while, but no matter how much time passed, things didn't get better, and eventually, I had to resign from the hotel. Some media sensationalized it as the tragedy of the young genius chef, but the public's interest wanes quickly. Since I didn't react at all, I was soon forgotten by the world. After about 6 months, I finally felt motivated enough to visit places full of memories with Natalie. When we were younger, we didn't have money, and once I started being recognized for my work, I didn't have time. Still, we managed to go on a few trips together. I felt like Natalie would be smiling if I went there. I came to a seaside town. It's a town Natalie mentioned wanting to visit after seeing it on TV. It's not a particularly special town. I just came because it was Natalie's wish. Hey, Harrison, doesn't this cliff look like the one where the culprit confesses at the end of a suspense drama? Just as Natalie said, it was perfect for a scene where the criminal confesses. At that time, the kitchen equipment at the restaurant where I worked broke down, giving me an unexpected break. Since it wasn't a well-known tourist spot, I thought there might be vacancies and found a room. With a bit more financial leeway, we decided to take a spontaneous trip. Until then, we lived a frugal life. So being able to go on an impromptu overnight trip was genuinely exciting, and Natalie was thrilled. I remember us pretending to be the criminal and the detective on that cliff, laughing heartily. It was fun. I smiled slightly, reminiscing while looking at the cliff. But those thoughts were suddenly interrupted. Don't do it! Out of nowhere, someone jumped at me from behind while I was just staring at the sea. What? Pulled with great force, I fell on my butt. Ouch! Please, talk to me. Don't do anything rash. I didn't know who she was, but she apparently thought I was about to jump off the cliff. It's a misunderstanding. I was just looking at the sea. Seeing me rubbing my sore backside, the woman realized her mistake. I'm so sorry. I often jump to conclusions. She sat on the ground, bowing her head and apologizing desperately, her face red with embarrassment. It's fine. But please be a bit gentler next time. Yes. Feeling a bit sorry, she continued looking down. As the pain subsided, I stood up, and she looked up at me from her seated position. See, I'm okay. You should stand up too, it's getting cold. When I said that, she finally stood up. She was tall for a woman, with short hair that suited her boyish charm. My name is Shelby. I manage a small hotel. She introduced herself. Are you on a trip? Yes, kind of. If you like, why not stay at my hotel? As an apology, I'll let you stay for free. After some back and forth with Shelby, I ended up accepting her offer. Great. Let's go. When I saw the hotel she took me to, I was speechless. The Cadence Hotel, where Shelby was the manager, was far from a well-maintained establishment. The paint on the walls was peeling and discolored in places. The sign was cracked, and the shrubbery was unevenly trimmed. It's quite a surprise, isn't it? Shelby said with a bitter smile, but anyone would be shocked by this sight. Entering with astonishment, I found the interior unexpectedly tidy. The inside is quite normal. I blurted out, causing Shelby to smile wryly again. She explained the situation, and I understood why things were this way. They were being harassed. We've reported it to the police and installed surveillance cameras, but they still managed to do it. We can't keep up with the repairs. Shelby sighed and then suddenly looked startled. Oh. I'm sorry, talking about such things to a guest. No, it's fine. Technically, I'm not even a guest. That's true. As I joked, her expression became brighter. Since I'm not really a guest, would you mind telling me more about it? But, talking about such things with someone I just met. You know the saying, a chance encounter is destiny. Why not share your story? Encouraged by my words, Shelby began to speak slowly. Originally, the Cadence Hotel was started by Shelby's parents. The small hotel near the rural town station wasn't booming, but it had a steady stream of customers, enough to keep it running. However, when Shelby was born, things changed dramatically. A large company built a factory a little distance away. The area around the station developed rapidly and became what it is now. The once modest area with just a few establishments, including the Cadence Hotel, saw rapid development. The hotel prospered, and Shelby led a comfortable life. But when she graduated from college, her mother fell ill and passed away, and more recently, her father also died. Having helped with the hotel since childhood, Shelby decided to take over. Together with the longtime staff, she worked hard to keep the hotel running, but then trouble arose. A man who wanted to buy the hotel appeared. Mr. Mason from Mason Realty had been approaching her father with offers for years. My father always told me about those offers. But he never intended to sell, and neither do I. Mr. Mason, noticing Shelby was now alone, persistently pressed her to sell, but she refused steadfastly. That's when the harassment started. There were graffiti on the walls, damaged property, and vandalized shrubbery. They even post false negative reviews online. As a result, the hotel's customers dwindled, and now there's no budget left to fix the damaged walls and broken signs. Fortunately, they haven't touched the interior, but the outside looks terrible. The dilapidated exterior drove away potential walk-in guests, making the business situation dire. Thankfully, loyal longtime customers who know the situation still come, so we're just scraping by. I see. While it was clear how serious the situation was, I couldn't think of how I could help. But I feel relieved. I guess I just needed someone to talk to. Shelby said, smiling brightly. Don't worry about it. Please relax and enjoy your stay today. The rooms are clean, and our service is excellent. All right, I'll do that. I was shown to a room and laid down on the bed after setting my luggage down. It was a twin room. I didn't need a twin since I was alone, but it seemed she wanted to make sure I had a comfortable stay. As I lay down and looked around, I had a strange feeling. Wait, this wallpaper. Somehow, the room looked familiar. I checked the photos on my phone, just in case. I came here 7 years ago when Natalie was still in middle school. Looking through the photos copied from my old phone, I found the ones I remembered. The distinctive light green wallpaper with subtle leaf patterns. I remembered Natalie saying, "It's like we're taking a forest bath." It turns out that the hotel we spontaneously booked and stayed at was this one. This is more than just a coincidence. It felt like Natalie had somehow guided me here, making my chest tighten with mixed emotions. Our breakfast buffet is excellent. Please look forward to it. We even have guests who come just for the breakfast, Shelby had told me. Considering this, I decided to save the hotel restaurant for breakfast and went to a nearby diner for dinner. I wandered around, found a place to eat, and explored the town at night. 7 years ago, Natalie and I had returned to our room early. The town was bustling at night, with many people around. I could see why Mason Realty was interested in Cadence Hotel. When I returned to the hotel, the lobby was noisy, and Shelby had just hung up the phone, sighing deeply. What's wrong? Well, the hotel's restaurant chef, Travis, had disappeared right after finishing the night shift. Travis handles the breakfast buffet as well? Yes. Shelby said, looking troubled. Travis is missing. We can't prepare the breakfast buffet. Travis has been our chef since my father's time and is very reliable. This has never happened before, and I'm worried something might have happened to him. While I was concerned for Travis's safety, I also worried that the restaurant might not open for breakfast. Could I use the kitchen? What? Why would you? No questions for now. Just show me the kitchen. I urged Shelby, and she led me to the kitchen. The kitchen was well maintained, reflecting Travis's dedication. Someone who takes such good care of this place wouldn't disappear irresponsibly. Please find Travis as soon as possible. Yes, I will. Shelby said, and left to search for Travis. I began preparing for the breakfast buffet. Fortunately, Travis had left some notes, so I could figure out what needed to be done. Although it was early, it was best to start as I was unfamiliar with the kitchen. I prepared to work through the night. As the long night passed and most preparations were done, the morning staff arrived. They were first surprised to see me, a stranger, in the kitchen, and then astonished at the spread of food. I quickly explained and left the staff to handle the rest, hurrying to find Shelby. Shelby was in the lobby, talking to 3 police officers. Have you found Travis? No, not yet. She probably hasn't slept a wink either. Looking even smaller than yesterday. He hasn't returned home, and we have no idea where he could be. Apparently, Travis lived alone. We asked his children who live some distance away, but he hasn't visited them either. Finally, the police started a full investigation. Just as we were discussing this, Travis suddenly returned. Travis! Where have you been? Shelby, I'm sorry, but... Travis began. According to Travis, he had gone outside to turn off the sign's lights after the night shift when he suddenly lost consciousness. I don't remember much about what happened then. When I woke up, I was lying near the back entrance of the hotel. That's unbelievable, Shelby said. I suspected it might be someone's doing, but we had no evidence. At least Travis was safe, which was a huge relief. Just then, an unwelcome guest arrived. It was Mr. Mason, accompanied by several young men. My young fellows here wanted a good breakfast, so I brought them along. You're still doing the buffet, right? Mr. Mason and his men were smirking. Yes, we are. Please, come in, I said, stepping forward. Mr. Mason and his men looked surprised. What's the matter? Please head to the restaurant. I said, half pushing them towards the dining area. The restaurant was bustling. Mr. Mason looked incredulous. Did you have something to do with what happened to Travis? I asked bluntly. What? Don't accuse me. I just saw Travis sleeping on the roadside and came to check on the restaurant. He probably got drunk and fell asleep. Pathetic. Mr. Mason said angrily, but a police officer overheard him. Can we talk for a moment? The officer asked. What? On what grounds? Mr. Mason protested. Travis was found unconscious near the back entrance of the hotel. We want to know exactly where you saw him on the roadside. The officer explained. The police had been following us, and Mr. Mason hadn't noticed them in his haste. The Cadence Hotel has also reported ongoing harassment. Please investigate everything thoroughly, I added. Yes, the report has been filed. We'll handle it, the officer assured. As Mr. Mason's group was sizable, more officers arrived in a patrol car and took everyone in for questioning. Fortunately, Travis's health checked out fine. The police suspected he might have been exposed to something that caused him to lose consciousness. While the investigation wasn't complete, it seemed likely that Mr. Mason was behind it. Apparently, he wanted to threaten us by showing what could happen if we lost our chef. Mr. Mason had a history of shady dealings, but this incident was particularly severe and wouldn't go unpunished. He was desperate to acquire our hotel soon and resorted to such measures, Shelby continued. It was a foolish thing to do. Minor harassment is one thing, but abducting a person carries serious consequences. Travis was fine but decided to take a break for a while. In the meantime, I took over as head chef. I decided to tell Shelby everything. I shared about losing my sister and being unable to work, and that I had stayed at Cadence Hotel 7 years ago. Back then, my only thought was to keep the restaurant open. Before I knew it, I was cooking. I see. Shelby said, sensing the strange connection as well. I lost Natalie and my job and came to this town. On the day I came, Mr. Mason made a desperate move, and it led me to realize that Cadence Hotel was the place of cherished memories with Natalie. I wanted to protect the place filled with memories, I explained. Though my decision to take over the kitchen was impulsive, my body moved on its own after that. I believe Natalie, my sister, guided me here. I told Shelby Natalie's words Dr. Taggart had conveyed to me. Really? She said that? Shelby's eyes welled with tears. I decided to continue running this place because of my father's words, Shelby said. Your father's? I asked. Yes. My father told me to take care of Cadence Hotel. He said it was my place to return to. A place to return to. Those words made my heart swell with emotion. Harrison, the kitchen is your place to return to. Your sister must have known that. Maybe that's why she wanted you to come back even after she was gone. That might be true. But you're a genius chef, Harrison. You should be working at a more prestigious hotel, not here. Shelby said, looking a bit sad. Travis is safe now, so thank you for everything. Shelby said, bowing deeply. Her words, as if trying to send me off immediately, left me speechless. Please come visit us again. We will be waiting for you. Wait a moment. I blurted out instinctively. Can I stay and work here? What? I want to turn this place into a 5-star hotel. My mind was made up. Harrison. Is that okay? I asked, looking directly at Shelby. She blushed slightly and answered softly. It's not that it's not okay, but are you sure that's what you want? Absolutely. There was no hesitation in my heart. I can't help but feel that Natalie brought me here. I can't imagine working in any other kitchen right now. And so, I became a chef at Cadence Hotel. Travis, finding it hard to continue as head chef due to his age, passed the title to me and took on a supportive role. I still want to cook, but it's tough to do it alone. This is perfect timing, Travis said. The rest of the staff warmly welcomed me, and I took on the role of head chef at Cadence Hotel. A few years later, Cadence Hotel earned its first star. Its reputation for exceptional cuisine grew, attracting guests from around the world. This is wonderful. It's just 1 star, but it's a great start for Cadence Hotel. Congratulations, Shelby. Now, Shelby was pregnant with our child. We had gotten married. It felt natural for both of us, as if guided by Natalie and Shelby's father. While the star is great, it's the guests saying they'll come back that means the most to me. Shelby said, rubbing her belly. That's true. But the star is a badge of honor. Some guests will come just because of it. Indeed. I want to adorn this place with more stars for our child. And so do I. Let's keep working hard together. Our goal was to create a hotel that not only served delicious food but also felt like a home away from home. This is the hotel we're going for. We would keep working together to make Cadence Hotel shine even brighter, like the North Star guiding travelers.